Good morning to you. 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on a beautiful Friday, July the 24th. Brandon Hardison, your host for another Hardison's tip. Keep in mind, next Wednesday, where we do our live with a special guest, we have the incomparable Corey Mosley, author, speaker, coach, trainer, coming in, and that will be Wednesday, 29th at 12 noon. So be tuned in for that because Corey's always got some outstanding things to say. So I know you're getting ready trying to get to work. We're not going to keep you long, so let's just get right to it so we can unpack some of this. Today's tip is it the price, or maybe is it something else? Low price, low price, low price, low price. It's the mantra that salespeople in every industry segment, that's what they're hearing. Not just today, but we heard it decades ago. Customers are always looking for ways to contain costs, and that's understandable. Naturally, pressures from their vendors to get lower costs. But is the lowest price the motivating factor for a customer's decision to buy? Once again, I'll say it again. Key account, major account, up and down the street, in home sales, retail sales, is the lowest price the motivating factor for consumers to buy? Now, there are surveys of buying motivations. You've heard them, I've heard them. Price is never really the primary motivator. Yes, it is important. And when everything else is equal, it'll be the deciding factor. But very rarely, I repeat, very rarely is everything else equal. That's where the tagline is. Very rarely people, salespeople, are skipping steps or skipping the opportunities. How many of you have looked for or heard about people, read about people looking for some spare parts for an automobile at a junkyard, or trying to find some old 45 vinyl from the past? If low prices were the only motivator, you would have gone to those low price options. Let me find that junkyard, or let me find somebody who's got some old, maybe scratch vinyls. But the truth is, you're not always looking for that. So once again, is price part of this, or can it be something else? Well, the truth is, consumers know when their guard is up because they're trying to get that price, but value is still what they're looking for. They don't always buy the best value, but that's what they're looking for. So if it's not value, now that price or payment or that risk comes into play. The biggest issue in the minds of most consumers out there and prospects is not the price, it's the value. Because if you do not show value as a salesperson, now it's looked upon as a risk. Well, I'm still not getting it. What is risk? Is it the potential cost for the individual customer that he or she makes a mistake with? Eh, can be. Is it just the money? It's not the social or the psychological or the emotional when it comes to the customer. Well, all of that comes into play. We don't have time to get into each one of those now, but I can tell you this. The lower the risk of the decision, the more likely the customer will say yes to you, regardless of the price. Once again, the lower the risk in the customer's mind, So let's become comfortable with the concept of what risk actually means to a customer. You can use a whole lot of different scenarios. I don't care if you want to stay in the automotive, if you want to go to grocery, restaurant. But when we look at two things, two brands, two models, however you want to look at it, and if I come to you, the salesperson, and you can articulate my pain and give me a reason that makes sense, feature, advantage, benefit, now I see more value, and that risk isn't coming into play. But if you do a bad job of listening to my needs, wants, and desires, do a bad job of trying to present how your product's going to alleviate or give me that pleasure. Now I'm looking at it as a risk. So here's a simple exercise to help you understand it. Now, this is just for you, maybe some managers that are out there. Draw a short vertical line. At the top of the line, write the number 25. At the bottom, write the number 0. So once again, 25, 0. Now on a scale from 0 to 25, with 0 being low and 25 the high, where would you put the risk of buying a package of disposable cups? 25, 0, disposable cups. Let me think. You probably say it's closer to 0. So put an X on the line from 0 to 25 where you think the risk of buying those cups would be. So once we've done that, then we look at the scale. Not really a big thing. Here's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Most people put their mark when it comes to risk near the highest essential if the value isn't there. So the risk in many customers' mind is what you over the lifetime of owning that product, the consequences that comes with them, their family, their neighbors. So compare always the risk to that value. And remember, your job is to present more value so that risk is diminished in the customer's mind. How does it all start? Listening, asking the right questions, and please, at the end of it, what most people don't do as salespeople, confirm what you heard from the guest. Recap. Let me see if I'm having a good Friday. You said that you're looking for. If you don't do these things, now that risk is going to come into play a little bit more. So always be selling value of you, representing your organization. And if they're strong in your market, they come with a good, solid brand, and customers will purchase. But remember, it's not about the price. It's about the value that you bring. Once again, Brandon Hardison for Hardison's Tips. Don't forget, Wednesday, the 29th, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, special guest, the incomparable Corey Mosley. Until then, as always, in parting, you go out and make